Hello guys, it is Sam. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a really exciting video for you guys, and that is actually a video on how to prepare for the new year before the new year actually starts. Every single year, I actually post a video about how to mentally and physically prepare for the upcoming year, but I post it in November without any real tips on how you can get yourself set up to actually be able to get into that routine before the new year. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how you should be able to start this routine actually a little earlier so that you are set up for that new year. So with all that being said, I'm still going to do my video that you guys really like about the new year, but I'm also going to be talking about steps leading up to that video and how you can prepare to just be right where you want to be before the year even starts to set you up for more success. So with that being said, I have a huge list of things that I think really benefited me when I was trying to figure out what I should be doing to get on the right track before the new year usually starts. A lot of people always talk about their goals for the new year, what they want to happen, what success they want to see, and I think a lot of that comes with reflection and recognition of what went not necessarily wrong, but not the best in the year before that, and also recognizing what did good. And I also think that it takes time to actually create a habit, a routine, and all of those things to line you up to be able to be successful in 2024. So with that, let's just get right into my list, and this is kind of like a step-by-step guide of me just talking to you on my experiences and what I think will work based on what worked for me. Obviously, what works for me may not work for you, but these are just general steps, whereas my other videos are more vlogs showing you guys how I did certain things. And I just posted a weight loss video, and you guys really liked how I was sitting down and kind of explaining the story, so I thought that this would also be really beneficial. So the first thing I have, as I mentioned, was recognition and reflection. I think that these two things are very important on your year before going into the new year, because if you don't reflect and if you don't recognize what necessarily went wrong, what went bad, what went right, what you want to do better, and what your goals are for 2024, it's going to be really hard to set yourself up for success. So what I did is I got a journal, and basically all I did was ask myself questions. And I want you guys to think about these questions right now. What went wrong? What went right? What was the best thing that happened to you in 2023? What is something you learned in 2023? And what is something you wish you did in 2023 to get you closer to your goal? What these questions are going to do is they're going to allow you to recognize what is missing. What is that missing factor that will allow you to get from point A to point B? It may sound silly talking about it now since we're still only in October from when this video is posted, but I promise as the weeks go on and you start to incorporate these habits into your routine, it will start to show a difference. And I know that sometimes it could be hard to sit there and try to recognize what necessarily went wrong. Personally, I don't like really talking about it at all, but when I look at the bigger picture, it's always good to know what went wrong, what you wish you did better, what is missing from your routine that will help you get to that success, because it's going to make your future that much better. The next step I have is to set a goal and make a plan. I am someone who is very big on setting a goal. When you have a goal, it is more likely to come true if you write it down on paper. One of my biggest tips is to always write down your goals and track your goals. What do I mean by this? Basically, get a journal. It could be the same journal that you reflected in, and you could kind of like dedicate a whole journal to what you are trying to do for 2024. And basically, all you have to do is write down 5 goals. Actually, right now in the comments down below, write down your biggest goal that you want to come true in 2024. Maybe if we share them with each other, we can hold each other accountable and share success, because it's also very important to recognize other people's success and be happy for them. So with that being said, write down your goal down below. And if there's any personal goals that you don't want to share, then obviously just write them down privately on a piece of paper and really think about that goal. Really take a minute to make a plan and think to yourself, what is going to allow me to get to this goal? Where am I today, and how close am I to that goal? With that, I really like to think of this thing called think big but start small. When we are starting a habit or trying to reach a goal, it is really important to understand that most goals will not be made overnight. Most goals are long-term and have to be worked for. When I say long-term, I don't necessarily mean years in advance, but it could take a few months, it could take a few years, it could take a year. Some goals may be really small and they may come a lot sooner, but usually when you are looking to reach a big goal, they will take time. And if you kind of just just dive in right away and try to reach for the stars, that's amazing, don't get me wrong, but it might make you overwhelmed and it might allow you to fall out of that routine a lot quicker. Whereas if you start small, from my experience, and work your way up to getting to that big goal, it will actually allow you to stay in that routine without feeling as overwhelmed as you might be if you start extremely big. Obviously, you can do whatever you feel comfortable doing, but from experience, that's what I recognize, so that is what I recommend. Number 4, I have a course of action. Having a course of action is really important because, like I was talking about, if you don't have a plan, it's going to be really hard to kind of just wing it and get from point A to point B. Now, for example, I'm going to talk about weight loss really quick because this was one of my goals that I was very determined to reach. I will link that video down below if you guys want to know all the details, but basically, I recently lost 65 plus pounds, and in order to do that, I needed to have a course of action on what my goal was, why it was my goal, and whenever I felt not motivated, because let me tell you guys, with goals, even though it may not seem as if it is like this, I promise you that most people will go through a time of defeat and really question why they're doing certain things. Even if it is their number one goal, that definitely happened for me. Obviously, this might not happen for everybody, but I think it's safe to say that it does happen to a good amount of people, and it's important to remember that just because you see something on the internet does not necessarily mean that it was all smooth going for that particular person's goal. And for me, I reached defeat every single day. It was more about discipline and just keeping myself motivated. It's hard to do this in the beginning. It's hard to have a course of action and stick to it, don't get me wrong. But what helped me the most was asking myself and reminding myself why I started. Every single time I felt defeat, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, why did you start? Where were you 3 months ago and where are you today? Recognize your small goals because that is what helped me keep going to get to the bigger goal that I wanted. Did I eventually get there? Yes. Was it hard? Yes. But I also told myself every single day that I am that much closer than I was yesterday. And if I stopped, I would have to start all over. So something I like to remind myself of is it's okay to feel like you're failing. It's okay to feel defeat. A lot of people do. You just have to know how to stay motivated. And for me, that was telling myself to keep going. That was telling myself in different ways that I actually did come a long way and I shouldn't stop now because then I'm gonna have to start all over. Now, obviously, there's other ways to do this. You can do this by giving yourself a reward. You can do this by doing something you've been looking forward to do. Literally anything that may work for you, but that's personally what worked for me. And having that course of action and that plan of what to do when I felt that way really did help me stay prepared and stay on track. Number 5, I have change your mindset. I talk about this in all of my videos. I actually have a video dedicated just to talking about mindset that I will link down below for you guys. But every single goal you have, every thought you think in your head is motivated by your mindset. You can really do anything you set your mind to as long as you believe in it. It may take time. It may take changing your routine. It may take a big course of action to get there depending on what the goal is. But you have every ability to do what you want to do with your life as long as you have the belief in your head that it is already yours and that you can do it. Every single time you say to yourself, I can't do this, you are agreeing with your mind. I like to look at it as the biggest competitor is your mind because it is you versus your mind. Every single day with my weight loss story, I had to fight my mind, especially in the beginning. I actually even made a video telling myself, looking myself in the mirror every single day, saying, I can do this, I can do this. Every single time I felt not motivated, I looked at myself, I picked up my phone and I recorded a video that said, I can do this. I don't care how long it takes, I can do this and I'm going to get to my goal. In the beginning, that was a complete lie. And in my weight loss video, I actually included that video and people said an indicator of lying is when you look to the side when you're saying something and you can tell that the person doesn't really believe it. And somebody commented this and once I realized, I was like, wait, that's so cool. In the video, you can see that in the beginning of my weight loss, I didn't believe in myself, but I tricked my mind into thinking I believed in myself. And towards the end of the video, you can see the difference of where my eyes are and the smile on my face, showing that I actually started to believe in myself. So saying it actually made me happy. If I still have that video, I'll insert it on the screen so I can show you guys because it actually helped me out so much and I definitely recommend that. Depending on what your goal is, you can do it for anything. You can just say, I believe in myself, I can do this, and it really helps your mind because when you change your mindset, the game changes. The sooner you believe in yourself, the sooner your goal will come true because it doesn't really matter if nobody else believes in you. It matters matters if you believe in yourself, because you're the one taking the course of action. You're the one doing the work. And for everyone else that doesn't believe in you, prove them wrong. That's what I told myself every day. There were so many people who didn't believe in me, and all I continued to tell myself was it doesn't matter because I believe in myself. And even if that was a lie in the beginning, I proved myself wrong. So basically changing your mindset and saying positive affirmations that will allow you to actually believe that you are worthy and you are capable of doing what you are trying to do will help you so much. And starting now, 90 days away from the new year, will help you out extremely, because you're already going to be in the habit of doing these good things before the new year comes around. Next, I have make a routine for yourself. Depending on the type of person you are, a lot of people will always say make a very high structured morning routine. I agree with this. Morning routines are very beneficial, especially if you do something the first minute you wake up. It is more likely for you to have a more productive and successful day. However, this also depends on you as a person, in my opinion. If you're someone who is not a morning person and you strive better at night, in my opinion, I think you should make a high structured night routine. It kind of depends on your vibe and when you like getting things done, but I think that no matter what time of day it is, as long as you have a night routine, a morning routine, or some type of routine that is going to allow you to stay on track, I think it's still very beneficial despite what type of routine it is. I think it's really important to recognize that everyone is not the same person, and trying to portray yourself like somebody else on the internet that you may be seeing or watching could be very hard, especially if you are not the person that likes waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Maybe you work better when you get more sleep, or maybe you can't fall asleep as early as that person can, so you wake up a little later, but you're getting the correct amount of sleep, which will actually set you up for a more productive day, in my opinion. Obviously, that's just my opinion on everything, but I think that as long as you have some type of structured routine and you really stick to that routine and you are incorporating things in your routine that will allow you to get to your goal, I think that any type of structured routine is really good despite what time of day you might be doing it. However, I will say try to do it at the same time every single day. Next, I have do something to clear your mind. Sometimes things can get very overwhelming, and sometimes it is not easy to sit there and just pretend that everything is okay. Sometimes it is very hard and you just need a break, and that's completely okay. I think it's very important to recognize when those things are going on, and it's very important to realize that you need to listen to your body. If you need a break sometimes, that's okay. That's completely fine. However, I think it is important to recognize the difference between needing a break and listening to your body and discipline. So if it is something that you just don't feel like doing, but you're physically able to do it, that is more of a discipline thing. If it is something that you absolutely feel like you cannot do that day, that is a listening to your body type of thing. Those two things are very different. Listening to your body can actually set you up for success and to be able to feel like you can keep going further down in the future, rather than discipline, which is pushing yourself to do something when you don't want to do it, but you are able to do it. So kind of learning the difference between those two are very important. But also with this category, if it is a day where you need to do something to keep your mind clear, do something that you love. You should be doing this every day, in my opinion. You should be doing like at least 30 minutes of something you love every single day. But if you are having a harder day sticking to your goal, definitely incorporate something you love to do, because it'll keep you motivated and keep you very excited to do that thing. Whether it's baking, filming a YouTube video, watching a TV show, going on a run, exercising, whatever it may be, whatever you like to do, definitely incorporate that in your daily routine if possible. And if not, definitely do it on those days where you feel like it's harder to stick to your goal. The next thing I have is manifestation and journaling. A lot of people might not believe in this step, and that's completely okay. Personally, I really do believe in it, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Manifestation is something that is very real, in my opinion. Some people, again, might not agree with that. That's completely fine. I'm not trying to change your view on it. If you don't want to watch this section, I'll have timestamps down below. I'm skipping to like the next part of the video. But manifestation is something that has really worked for me, and for me, I like to think of manifestation as something like affirmations. Manifestation is believing something is already yours before it is and acting as if it is yours. I think this goes hand in hand with mindset. I like manifestation because when I think about it, it is basically just tricking your mind that something is already yours. That is the very simple term of it. Obviously, there are so many other things that go into manifestation. However, if you do not believe what you are writing down or what you are visualizing, it will not come true. You need to believe that it is already yours, and you have have to act like it is already yours. And when you can do that, you are setting yourself up for success. And maybe you don't believe in manifestation, but maybe you think that idea is really cool. Even doing that alone without visualizing and stuff like that will help you get to a good state in your mind where you are able to believe that something is in your power. As far as journaling, I think journaling is amazing. I recommend it. It is a really good thing where you can just write down all your thoughts. I recommend journaling with a clear head, but also a not clear head, because when you journal with a clear head, you are going to be able to write things down to get you to success. And when you journal with a not clear head, you are going to be able to get everything out, which is really important. Getting your emotions out is something I think a lot of people don't talk about, but it's something I think a lot of people should talk about. And some people don't feel like talking to other people about it. Personally, sometimes I'm going through something and I don't want to talk about it. I just want to get the emotions out, and I do that by journaling. And when we don't bundle up our emotions and hold them in and we allow them to come out, we are going to reach our goal a lot faster because we are listening to our bodies. If you can see what I'm saying about this video, it is really about understanding you, understanding your mind, and understanding your body and your body's needs. After you do that, and after you learn to believe in yourself and listen to your head, but listen to the good things in your head, and to kind of replace those negative thoughts with good affirmations, the game really does start to change. The next thing I want to talk about in this little category is the affirmation part of manifestation. Affirmations, like I mentioned earlier, are something that is so important, but it is more important for you to block out the negativity. Everyone is going to have thoughts where they feel like they are doubting themselves, or they feel like they're not going to be able to reach success, or whatever it may be. It is your goal and your job to stop that thought and change it with something positive. For example, during my weight loss journey, all I said to myself sometimes was, I can't do this. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. Then when I started realizing that I shouldn't be saying that to myself, I stopped myself every single time I had those thoughts, and I said, nope, that's not gonna stop me. I can do this, and I'm gonna prove that thought in my head wrong. It showed me that yes, I was having those negative thoughts, but I was replacing them with positive thoughts, and positive will always outgo the negative. The next thing I want to talk about is it takes 21 days to break a habit, or at least that used to be what the saying was. It does take a little while to break a habit. Don't quote me on the number exactly, but I will say that it at least takes 7 to 21 days to break a habit, in my opinion. It is hard. I think the first day is probably the hardest day. It depends on your goal, but it also takes a similar amount of time to start a habit. Again, starting can be really hard as well, depending on your goal and depending on how determined you are. However, the sooner you start, the better, and that's why, again, I'm making this video. Since it takes a long time to start a habit and get into a routine, I think it's smarter to start in October and November rather than December, maybe like 2 days before the new year, because you're not going to be in that routine then, and the sooner you can start the habit, the easier the habit will be when the new year comes around. The last thing I want to talk about for this video is remember that you are in control of your reality. What everybody else says does not matter. Yes, you can take their advice, you can talk to people about it, but in reality, you're in control. And when you really start to realize that all of this comes down to your mindset, your capability in your mind of what you can do, and you believing in yourself, the game really does start to change. And I know I've been saying that a lot throughout this video, but you may ask me, how can I mentally and physically prepare for 2024 and have the best year yet and reach most of my goals and only think positively? My answer would be to start now, and to start by changing your mindset. Changing your mindset is not easy. Changing your mindset will come with a lot of doubt. Changing your mindset will really be hard. But if you sit there and you allow yourself to hear every single thought your mind is thinking and listen to every single one of those thoughts, it's going to stop you, or at least distract you from reaching that goal faster. Now, if you sit there and recognize the thoughts that you're thinking, but you are able to stop the negative thoughts, the game will change, and you will see that over time, the power really does become yours, and everything you are reaching for 2024 will be already lined up before the new year actually starts if you start now. Comment a star emoji down below and comment I can do this next to it if you stayed up until this point of the video. This is your sign to start now, because I promise you when December comes around, no matter what your goal is, it's gonna be December 30th and you're gonna be already on track to getting that goal by the end of 2024. With all that being said, I know I talked a lot, but I feel like this video is something that is really, really beneficial for me, and if I'm sitting here and feeling like it's beneficial for me to hear it, I feel like other people people will benefit from it as well. So remember, you can do it. Remember, it really does depend on your mindset, and you can do anything as long as you set your mind to it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you really soon in my next video.